Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/no sleep to read a terrifying horror story, written by Whistle O with a lot of H's at the end. The story is called There's a Call 911 Dispatchers Don't Talk About. If you enjoy, remember to like, subscribe, and do leave a comment down below. The longer you watch, the better this video will perform. So, let's get started, shall we? I work nights at a 911 dispatch center. It's not the TV version, no swelling music, no hero speeches. It is a fluorescent light, bad coffee, and the same headset pressing the same sore spot into your skull for 12 hours. The world becomes small. A screen, a call timer, a script you can recite half asleep. 911, what's your emergency? Police, fire, EMS. Some callers are pure adrenaline, screaming, crying, sometimes breathing so fast they cannot get the address out, sometimes whispering, like whatever they are scared of has ears, and sometimes there is nothing. We call them silent calls, pocket dials, faulty lines, a kid messing around, a domestic where someone hit the call button and then froze. We treat them seriously anyway. You talk to the silence, you answer questions, you listen for anything that sounds like distress. There is a policy for it. It gets drilled into you early. Ask, ask again. If you hear nothing, you follow callback procedure. If you still hear nothing, you send a welfare check. If you have enough location data. If you do not, you document and then move on. There is an unofficial rule that nobody writes down. It gets passed between night staff like a superstition. Do not sit on a silent line for too long. 10 seconds and then you move. Nobody tells it like a ghost story. They tell it like practical advice. You'll start hearing things. I believed that. I assumed it was fatigue. Your brain trying to find patterns inside static. And then I got the call at 2:13 a.m. It came in as unknown, which happens all the time, but under it was a location tag. Not a street address, not a tower ping. A name. My name. First and last. I stared at it long enough that the ship's supervisor glanced over. I clicked to answer before she could ask what I was doing. 911, what's your emergency? There was no voice. Just line noise, faint and wet, like a wind through a half-open window. I did the script again. Still nothing. I listened harder, which is the first mistake. The headset turns you into a hunting dog. You become convinced there's a shape inside the hiss. There is something under it. Not breathing. Typing. Soft, rapid tapping. The exact rhythm of someone using a keyboard too quickly to be careful. My stomach dipped because I was sitting at a keyboard. My fingers were still. I held my breath. The tapping continued anyway. Hello, I said, forgetting the script. The tapping stopped. For a second, the line went so clean, it felt like the world blinked. Then I heard a chair creak, not in the call, in the room behind me. I yanked one ear cup off and looked over my shoulder. Nobody moved. Rows of operators hunched and pale under the monitors. A guy 2 desks down chewing his thumbnail. Someone laughing quietly at something that would not be funny in daylight. The supervisor watched me with the expression you use on a dog that has started barking in a corner. I put the headset back on because you do not get to be precious about fear when a call timer is running. 911, can you hear me? A whisper arrived so close to the microphone, it sounded like lips brushing plastic. Don't. That was all. The line dropped. The call log updated a second later. It relabeled the caller ID. It was not unknown anymore. It showed my cell number. The same 10 digits I type into forms. The same number linked to my employee profile for scheduled texts and password resets. I checked my phone. No outgoing call, no active call, no missed calls. My hands were sweating so much I nearly dropped it. I did the procedure anyway because procedure is a railing and you grab it when the stairs disappear. I hit call back. It rang once, and then I answered myself. Not a voicemail, not a recording. I heard the dispatch center in my ear. The same faint chorus of voices. The same cough from the desk behind me. The same tiny squeal from the chair that never gets fixed. I heard my own breathing. Then, very clearly, I heard myself say, 911, what's your emergency? It was my voice, my pace, my tired little upward lift at the end. I ripped the headset off. My mouth was closed. I hung up. My screen flashed a new incoming call immediately, like it had been waiting behind a door. The number again, 2:13 a.m. I did not answer. It rang on my screen until the system rolled it into the next queue. Somebody else picked it up 2 rows away. I watched him for his reaction like it was a magic trick I already knew the ending to. He did not flinch. He spoke into his headset, calm and scripted. And then he froze. Not dramatically, just a slackening of his shoulders, like a puppet whose strings were loosened. His hands went to his throat. He swallowed once, twice, and then took the headset off and stared at it like it had grown teeth. The supervisor was already moving. She leaned in, spoke to him softly. He shook his head, his lips moved without sound. She guided him to the break room. On the big wall display his call ended. No dispatch, no callback, no notes. It vanished like it had never existed. I did the thing you're not supposed to do. I searched the system for my number. It returned hundreds of entries because my number is attached to my employee profile and gets stamped into routine logs. That part was normal. What was not normal was the block buried under the normal stuff. Call after call, all marked silent. All from my number, all time-stamped at 2:13 a.m., all routed to different operators, all ending without resolution. The earliest was dated 7 months ago. That was impossible. I had not even been hired 7 months ago. I clicked 1. The audio file opened. I put my headset back on and hit play. There was a hiss, there was typing, and then my breathing, and then the whisper, "Don't." Same timing, same closeness, same intimate nastiness like it had leaned in until it touched the microphone. My skin went cold in a slow sheet. The supervisor came back and stopped at my desk. She did not ask what I was looking at. She just lowered her voice. "Log out," she said. "Why?" "Because it is you tonight." The calm in her voice was worse than panic. "It happened to you?" I asked. She hesitated. When someone pauses before answering, they are choosing which truth you can handle. "It started in February," she said. 5 incidents, night shift only. Always 2:13, always a silent call from the same operator who answers it. "Why?" I asked. She did not answer the why. She said, "Do you live alone?" I said yes. And she said, "Are you sure?" I laughed once because what else do you do when someone asks you that at work? "It's an apartment, yes." She nodded like that answered a different question. "I need you to listen," she said. "Officially, it's a VoIP issue. Spoofed caller ID, system glitch. IT will say it is fatigue and confirmation bias. And unofficially? Unofficially, it learns your voice," she said. I tried to tell myself it was stress. A pattern people invent when they are tired. A myth shaped around for a time on the clock because the night has to have a center. But I could still feel that whisper in my ear like a fingerprint. Don't. A call came in then. Sharp and real. A woman screaming about a crash on the interstate. We did our jobs because horror does not pause for your personal problems. After the call, I tried to stop thinking about 2:13 by drowning my brain in tasks. I filed reports, I checked the incident queue, I volunteered for the boring admin bits everyone avoids. The clock crawled anyway. 2, 2:07, 2:12. At 2:13 my screen flashed. Incoming call, unknown. Location, tag my name. The supervisor watched me. 2 other operators watched too, trying not to. The call timer began. I did not answer. It rang. The system moved it. Someone else picked it up. I stared at that operator, waiting for the tell. He did not freeze. He did not flinch. He tilted his head slightly, like he recognized a distant sound. And then he smiled. Not amusement, recognition. He nodded once and softly said, "Okay." He hung up. He removed his headset and set it neatly on his desk. He stood, zipped his jacket, and walked out like he was heading to his car after a normal shift. The supervisor followed him into the hallway. We have a security camera meet on the corner monitor. Grainy, no audio. I watched it as if I could stop anything. In the feed, she spoke to him. He shook his head, and then she grabbed his arm. He turned toward her. His mouth moved. Even without sound, I recognized the shape. 911, what's your emergency? He stepped closer, she stepped back. He raised his free hand. For a second I thought he was going to hit her. He did not. He held his palm in front of her face, hovering a centimeter away, like he was feeling heat. And then he pushed. Not hard. Just enough. She stumbled into the wall. Her head snapped, and she slid down. He looked at her for a moment like she had done something inconvenient, and then he walked through the security door. The door should have locked behind him. It did not. It swung gently, like a mouth left open. Everything after that was noise, people moving, a security call, someone calling EMS. The day supervisor coming in with wet hair and a face that did not have room for nonsense. I walked out anyway, not to help. I hate myself for that part, but I'm trying to be honest, because I need you to understand what this does to your head. I walked out because I could not stay in that room with my name glowing on the screen. I made it to the restroom and locked myself in a stall, like a kid hiding from thunder. My phone buzzed. Voicemail. One new. Timestamp. 2:13 a.m. My phone had not rung. I did not know you could get a voicemail without the phone ringing. I hit play. My voice filled my ear. Not my professional dispatch voice. My normal voice. Lower, tired, close. Then it said, "Listen, you have to do exactly what I say." Under my voice was a sound I recognized instantly. My apartment. The hum of my fridge, the rattle my heater makes when it kicks on. Distant traffic like surf. My voice said, "Do not go home." My stomach dropped so hard it felt like my insides shifted. My voice continued, fast and breathless, like it was running out of time. It is already inside. It is practicing. It is using you to learn the cadence. If you go home, you will give it the rest. I pressed my free hand on my mouth to stop myself from making any sound. My voice said, "If you are hearing this, then I did not do it in time." I answered. I thought I could trace it. I thought I could control it. A sound cut through the message. A doorbell. In the background in my apartment, a doorbell rang. 3 short rings, the way it does when the button stinks. My voice went quiet. Then it whispered, not to the phone, but to something in the room. "Please." The voicemail ended. I sat there, and I tasted metal. I walked back into the control room, because hiding in a stall does not change reality. The supervisor had been taken out on a stretcher. Her face was gray. Her eyes were open but unfocused, like she was looking past the ceiling. At my desk, my screen had gone to standby. I awoke it. A new tab was open. A dispatch form. Caller, my number, time, 12:13 a.m. Type, unknown person in residence. The address was my apartment. Under additional information, a sentence had been typed into the notes field. They let me practice. The cursor blinked at the end, and then it moved. One letter appeared, then another. Slow, deliberate, like it enjoyed being understood. I can say it now. I did not touch the keyboard. I did not breathe. Another line typed itself. 911, what's your emergency? My own words arranged like teeth. A new call popped up. Incoming, my number. Location tag, my name. 12:13 a.m. I did not answer. I stood up, I grabbed my bag, and walked straight out while somebody shouted after me. I did not stop. Employment felt small. Outside, the cold bit hard. The streetlights made everything look bleached and unreal. I got in my car and drove. And I did not go home. I drove to my sister's place because it was the only destination my tired brain could picture clearly. I checked my mirrors way too often. I pulled up and sat there with the engine running. Her curtains were closed, all the lights were off. Incoming call, my number, 12:13 a.m. I stared until it stopped. It buzzed again. My number, 12:13 a.m. Again and again. And then my car's hands-free system pinged. Call incoming. My dashboard lit up with my name. I killed the engine, but the screen stayed on, and the call connected anyway. I heard my own breathing through the car speakers, and then the whisper using my voice perfectly now. 911, what's your emergency? Something shifted behind me. Not a silhouette, not a face. A pressure change, like someone leaned forward in the back seat. I climbed out of the car and ran to my sister's porch. I hammered her door until my knuckles split. Inside, something moved. Slow footsteps. My sister did not have slow footsteps. The footsteps behind the door. The mail slot clicked open. I leaned close, shaking, and whispered her name. My own voice whispered back through the slot. 911, what's your emergency? I backed away so hard I nearly fell off the step. The doorknob turned slowly, like whoever it held it wanted me to watch. I ran. I am writing this from a gas station on the edge of town, the kind with humming coolers and a bored cashier who does not look up. The counter clock says 4:41 a.m. My phone has been vibrating every few minutes for the last hour. Always the same incoming call. Always my number. Always stamped 2:13 a.m. I turned the phone off. It keeps vibrating anyway. A heartbeat that is not mine. Deep in my pocket, like someone trying to get out. If you take anything from this, take warning that sounds stupid until it isn't. If you ever get a call from your own number, do not answer. If you ever hear your own voice speaking when your mouth is closed, do not listen closer. If you ever catch yourself saying a familiar sentence like it's the only sentence you have left, bite your tongue until it hurts and make yourself stop. Because it is learning about you, and once it can say the words perfectly, it does not need you to say them anymore. That is the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's story, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and possibly check out my other storytime playlists. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.